Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks.
We'll get started here with John McMullen and then Martin Frank.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, John.
Curious, from your perspective as an offensive coach, we've talked a lot about completion percentage and over 80% by opposing quarterbacks. How do you make that more difficult? How do you stop that? From your perspective, what makes things difficult?
Yeah, I think when you give them a disguise and you throw off the timing just a little bit. So that can be a couple different ways, right? You can throw off the timing by getting a little pressure. You can throw off the timing by disguising the coverage and confusing the quarterback on where to go. You can throw off the timing with some reroutes and some press coverage as well. So whether they're rerouting in a cover two scheme or they're rerouting and getting up in the face and man-to-man, those are all different ways that that you can accomplish that. Those different things. Again, different things that we're trying. That's John. That is something that again, that I kind of talk about into the defense. The way I speak to the defense is more so in the sense of, hey, here's what's difficult for me as a coordinator. So that's why I say first and foremost, whatever the issues are on this team, offensively, defensively, special teams wise, it all starts with me and me first. And so, again, because I do have that expertise as an offense to be able to share that information with the defense, and it's my job to be able to get some of those things worked into the equation.
Go ahead, Martin, and then Dave Zingaro.
Hey, Nick, if I could follow up with that a
Hey,
little
Martin.
bit. Javon was saying yesterday that, Justin Herbert was getting the ball out really quickly, which kind of prevented the pass rush from getting home. And I think Fletch said that after the game against the Raiders with Derek Carr. How can you kind of combat that as well? I mean, if the quarterback's releasing the ball really quickly.
Yeah, first thing first is we watch the tape. We all have to be on the same page. That starts with us coaching it. That we're hey, if they do this motion, if they line up in this formation, if they're in this bunch, and if they're in this stack, we need to be in this. And so if not, defense is quite unique in the sense that if one guy doesn't do his job or one guy's off on a different page, then the whole thing can look messed up. So, but that's us coaching it first. Coaching it better first to get the guys doing that. So, we had a couple pre-snap and post-snap mental errors that gave them some freebies. But it is, Martin, it is a good spin-off of that question because it is pretty similar to what I just said, right? To get the quarterback to hold it, in this quick game, when it really comes down to that quick game and being the 2 seconds out before the ball, with him having the ball and getting him out in 2 seconds, it's the disruption from the secondary. It's hard, because if they're getting it out in 2 seconds, the pass rush isn't going to get there, right? And so it's the disruption in the secondary. It's whether it's cover two with some reroutes, whether it's a different type of zone with some reroutes, or the press man-to-man out there that deters that thing from getting out that quick.
Go ahead, Dave, and then Josh Tolentino.
Hey, Nick, has Jordan
Hey, Dave.
Howard earned a role going forward even when Miles gets back? And how do you figure out how to get him on the roster if that's the case?
Yeah, I mean he's played really good football these last 2 games. I'm sure glad we have him. And yeah, I mean that's something that we don't have to think about right now. And I'm really in a short term point of view in mind. And that's just I think the way you have to think in this league, like that you can't think about what happened in the past. You learn from it and you get better from it, but you got to be in the moment. And so that will be, Miles isn't back yet, so I don't have to think about it. I got a lot of other things I got to think through, right, and solve and problem solve and everything like that. It's one thing I have to, unfortunately or fortunately, however you look at it, that I don't have to think about right now. But is he playing good football? Absolutely. Are we happy that he's on this roster? Absolutely. And we're getting a spark offensively from Jordan Howard, and so. He's done a great job of carrying the football and being aggressive with the football, and offensive line has done a good job opening up holes for him. And so, we look forward to continuing that with him for these, especially for this game against Denver.
Go ahead, Josh, and then Bo Wolf.
Hi, Nick. Hope your Monday's going well so far.
Thanks, Josh.
In working with you every day over the past few months, we've learned that you're very committed to your 1% better every day, and winning that specific day. But Nick, I'm wondering when it comes to the big picture, though. I'm wondering how involved are you in, I guess, conversations with Howie, specifically when it comes to identifying parts of the roster you'd like to improve in order to I guess, fully develop into the team that you want to become and have here.
Yeah, good question, Josh. Yeah, we talk about everything. Howie and I, we talk about everything. The communication with everything, right? And so, players, that's obviously our biggest talking point is the players on this football team, and and so it's everything. Like we are evaluating. He's getting, we're talking through who played well, who played poorly, who played okay. Why they did what they did, all sorts of things like that. So there are so many pieces to getting better every single day. And you're 100% right, Josh. This isn't that is a big part of it, right? Of the guys out there. I think we have everybody in this building that we need to win football games. And so, again, we gotta play better, we gotta coach better to be able to do that. But I think you've seen us in a spot where when we're playing consistent, we can play pretty well. But it's the consistency's not there right yet. It consistently, and so that's my job as the head coach to get it there. But I do believe we have everybody in this building we need to win this division, and to win football games, to be able to move on. Again, I don't want to sit here and say anything about to win this game right here. We only think about this one game right here, and so I believe we have good pieces on this team, and I'm excited to work with all the pieces on this team. But with as far as the discussion of players and what we're looking for, and we have constant communication with that, so yeah, I'm very appreciative of the open relationship between our personnel department and our coaching department.
Thanks.
Bo and then Mike K.
Hey, Nick, I have a couple really quick game management questions from yesterday. The 4th and 5 on the opening drive, how much of a toss-up was that? Did you consider going for it? There was the Donald Parham catch along the sideline that looked like it could have been challengeable. Did you think about that? And then did you consider going for 2 when you scored at the end of the game with 6 minutes left?
Yeah, all good questions. The 4th and 5, I was thinking if we got that thing to 4th and 3, that I was gonna be pretty aggressive with that 4th and 5, and I was gonna go for it. 4th and 5, we had just had the 3rd and 5 one. That Dallas ran a good route. Jalen got a little pressure, and we missed that. But he did get a little pressure on that right side. And then when you pin a guy, I felt really good. Aaron's really been kicking the ball well and punting the ball well. And so I felt he has a good spin on that football. Like I see it every day in practice that if you put Aaron in a position where we were on the field right there, that he was going to pin it inside the 5. And the ball hit at the 3, and the kickback came, and Zach and Andre did a really good job of getting down there. To us, that's an explosive play. And so you look at explosive plays on offense, you look at explosive plays on defense. But, an explosive play on special teams, there's different formulas to get that. Our explosive play on special teams in the punt game, just so you guys know, if you pin them inside the 5, we count that as explosive play. And if you get a stop on defense when your team's backed up, we think about that as a score. That's Gannon screaming that into the headset of, hey, we stop them, I'm backed up, we get points. And so I felt good about that decision. Did it work out? No, they ended up going down 99 yards or 98 yards or whatever, 97 yards, and we stuffed them on 4th down. And then on offense, we didn't get the ball out of there, so they ended up scoring. The catch on the sideline, we got a good look of it upstairs. I got a good look of it at so I'm really trusting the guys upstairs to talk to me because they're seeing different feeds of that upstairs, right? They're seeing the television copies of that upstairs. They felt confident it was a catch. I saw it as well. I saw it live. I saw him get it tucked, and the guys at at Lincoln Financial did a good job of showing it on the big screen. And so I saw it 2 times there, and I had a chance, they huddled for that play. So I had a chance to not only trust the guys that up top, which I'm gonna trust them a lot, but I also got to see it live twice. I saw it live, and then I saw it 2 times up there. I felt that he caught that football. And your third one going for 2 with 6 minutes left. So on that one right there, we always are thinking about that of, hey, if you go tie the game right there, if you tie the football game right there, and do you go for it to extend it? It was a little bit too early for that in my mind. It was 6 minutes left. I was hoping we'd get a stop and continue rolling on offense like we did. So it was definitely in the discussion, Bo, but I felt at that particular time, with that much time left on the clock and the way we were playing on offense, that we were going to get the ball back and be able to do something with it, and it didn't work. So, but that's what I was thinking on all 3. I have no problem explaining to you what I was thinking on all 3. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Go ahead, Mike, and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Nick. So from your connect principle, I was curious, what's your outlook on body language? We saw during the neutral zone infraction that Josh Sweat and Fletcher Cox obviously were frustrated with the play, but how do you manage that behind closed, or I guess from a coaching standpoint, when you don't want another player to feel like they're kind of, getting the cold shoulder from the rest of the group?
Yeah.
And then also, with that said, though, what is the coaching point on Derek Barnett? Because it does seem like these penalties consistently happen with him.
Sure. Well, as far as the body language, I think that there are things that happen in the string of a game where our emotions show. Like, listen, I'm an emotional guy, and so I don't want to be judged on things that happen sometimes in the game with my emotions, and because it is an emotional game. So I understand that, and I think when something like that happens, of course we're like, oh gosh, like I think that's just a natural reaction. But you always want to protect your teammates in every scenario that you're in. Whether that's a receiver doing this to a quarterback or a quarterback doing this to a receiver or a defense, that happens. Like I understand that happens in a game. It's an emotional game, but I know those guys are tight in there. As far as Derek goes, right, he's had 2 of those big ones, in third down scenarios, and so, I do believe, just like the rest of the team, we're trending in the right way with our penalty situation. And so Derek's a defensive lineman, it's like I don't want to say it's exactly like this, but it does have the elements of a tight end who drops a pass. Like that happen. It does happen. It can't happen in that situation, but it does happen. But I believe Derek's trending in the right direction, and he had a backfall yesterday. And so again, I can't speak to. I think I just have to look at the element of work that I'm dealing with, that I've been here for, right? I can't speak to anything that's happened in the past. It's this 2021 season, and Derek had a penalty yesterday that he's going to want back. Jalen missed a throw that he's going to want back. Devontae missed a route that he's going to want back. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. But I got a lot of confidence in Derek. Derek made some nice plays. Derek is a guy that plays extremely hard and extremely tough. And he made some nice plays in that game. When we were going over our couple good and our couple bad from the defense, Derek was on both of the couple good plays, and so he did some good things in that game. But he's going to want that penalty back. We want that penalty back. But I think we're trending in the right direction, and it's no different. They're correcting Derek's mistake as it is correcting an offensive lineman's mistake or whatever it is. So we're working through it. But I did think he played a solid game, and he always plays hard, and he always plays physical, and he always plays tough.
Go ahead, Jeff, and then Ruben Frank.
Nick, on Jalen's throw where he missed Devontae in the end zone, he mentioned obviously it was something he wanted to have back, and said he ended up throwing off his back foot. Mechanically, what could he done different on the drop? Jeff, it was kind of an awkward drop. Is that the problem?
Yeah, it was. Jeff, they had shown a look there, and just let you in on some insight. They had shown a look there from that diamond front that they showed us, where they brought the 5, right? We're in empty protection. And they had brought the 5, but they've also added on the Mike linebacker, which would be bringing them 6, with us having 5 in protection. So I thought, as we're on the headset and we got that, so what we taught Jalen, right, in that scenario, that, hey, if you get that 6, the defensive end on the outside is going to be the one that's free. You drift away from him and you make the play. And so, myself, Brian, Kevin Patullo, Shane, we're all in there like, oh, hey, here's that blitz. And we still felt good about it. He just had to drift away from it. Well, they didn't bring the 5th guy. They didn't bring that extra linebacker, so we ended up being protected. So the coaching point is, hey, you were on the right point where you started that drift drop, because – you got to trust what your preparation was all week. Hey, they showed this look. This is what they did off the look. I got to trust this preparation, just like us as coaches have to trust the preparation that we do as well. And they ended up not bringing it. So what our point was to them is like, okay, they didn't bring it. You didn't have to drift as much right there. See if you can settle your feet and deliver it right there, because I thought Devontae ran a pretty good route. Again, I believe that Jalen is definitely going to be the first one to tell you he wants that throwback. I want that throwback for him. But there were some things he did in that game last night that I said it yesterday, and I stand by what I said, like that other players in this league can't make. So I thought he played a good, solid game. And that's the nature of his position, though, as we know, Jeff, right, is that, you lose a close game like that, and we're gonna have to scrutinize everything, right? And that's how that's what we do. We correct and we do everything like that. And those plays, he's going to want those back, but he did enough to help us win that football game yesterday. I thought he played a solid game and played a really good game, actually.
We have time for 2 more, so we'll go to Rube and then Jimmy Kempski.
Hey, Nick, I wanted to ask you about the wide receivers other than Devontae. They haven't really been as involved over the last 4 or 5 weeks as they were the first few weeks, both Quez and Jalen. Greg hasn't been targeted in 4 or 5 weeks also, and J-Jaw, before he got hurt, had not been targeted. What's your level of concern about the guys other than Devontae not being involved, and how important is it to get them going?
Yeah, again, we're playing a certain way right now, and we're running the football, and we're play action passing. And so, you want to get Dallas going, you want to get Devontae going, of course you want to get Quez going, Jalen. Like there's a lot of mouths to feed right there. But when we're doing it the way we're doing it right now and having some success on offense doing that way, I mean, something's got to sacrifice there. And so, we're always thinking about how we get the ball to Devontae and Dallas and Quez and Jalen. And sometimes their touches come, sometimes they don't. But I do know in this league that you have to be able to spread it around, right? So they can't just take away one guy and take away your passing game. And so, yeah, we always are thinking about how we're getting those guys the football, and it's just these last couple of weeks it hasn't went that way, and I know that can be frustrating. But we got to do what we think we can do to win the football game offensively, and and sometimes that's going to sacrifice some of the touches on the perimeter. We can definitely manufacture things to get some guys the touches, but again, I don't want to sound coachy or cliche here, but there is only one football. You can only have so many, and you only have so many plays. And when you're running the ball like we were, and you play action it like we were, that was the right formula for us yesterday and the week before, in my opinion. And so, some guys are going to lack some touches there. But sometimes, a lot of times that evens itself out, because you're not able to play that way every time, right? A defense can take away things and force you to do it different ways. So there's no doubt we're going to need them, and they're going to have to be patient and go, kind of like how Jordan Howard was, patient and went and was ready to roll when his time was called.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Hey, Nick. Lane said that Brandon Brooks would be out like 8 weeks, and I know he's not a doctor or a team spokesman or anything like that, but Sunday will be 8 weeks. So how's Brandon coming along? Are you expecting him back this week, next week, a little further along?
Yeah, still in discussion, Jimmy, with that. We'd be excited when we get Brandon back, but we're still in discussion there with what that is. So we got to see him. He's got to, he's going to have to go practice and when it's time to. But he obviously we talked through all those things, and so I'm still waiting. I don't have a great answer for you right now, Jimmy, but Still waiting with that, and we'll see. We'll have more information on that on Wednesday.
Thanks.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks, everybody.